Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. I'm here with a Charger SRT Hellcat, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that really obnoxious 216 mile per hour quarter mile speed trap. We only have about a day and a half left for this event, and some people are stuck right near that particular part because you don't have the right stage 6s for the purpose of getting through. I'm going to give you some quick pointers on this. One is that nitrous is very important if you want to try to get through that speed trap, because nitrous allows you to push the car beyond the standard mile per hour that is shown by the dyno, as much as almost 8 mile per hour over what dyno says you may be able to do. And that's extremely important when you're trying to get that extra mile per hour done, the 216. Now, that being said, body and tire are very strong stage 6s. Both in combination with nitrous will dyno 217, which means you should have no problem hitting it because the dyno is saying that you'll hit it. That means body is a big addition to mile per hour, and so is tire. So we'll look, we just did nitrous and body. I'm going to show you nitrous and tire, and then we're going to talk about tire and body together, because although each of them are strong, those two together with the dyno might be enough, but those two with other stage 6s may not be enough, and I'll explain when we get there. So tire and nitrous shows a 214, but we'll run it for the 216. It will get there. Let me just make sure I have the right stage 6s as I'm saying. So yep. All right, so let's look at this one. You can tweak this to 216. It's not too difficult. What it is that the nitrous, you want the shortest and most powerful duration. Here you can tweak this to get a little higher. Okay, so if you tweak it just enough, you can get it very close. But one of the things about having that stage 6 nitrous is you will easily overrun what the computer says your mile per hour is going to be. So go ahead, let's go ahead and run it. When it's already shown 215, you're going to get 216. You can actually get higher than 216, but you'll redline in 8th and be stuck there because that's how I have the car tuned. That is the best way for us to get to 216 with a weaker setup, which I'm going to show you in a second. Right? So nitrous in 6 is the best way because it happens to run out right at the end of the track, giving you the highest possible mile per hour as the car is being pushed by the nitrous. Notice I'm limited somewhat by the actual top speed of 216.8. I hit 216.5 in the quarter mile with that setup. So nitrous and tire, again, very easy to get to 216 with just those two. So body and tire both are strong stage 6s. Nitrous is the one that lets you push beyond what the mile per hour is shown. But what happens if we don't have that much nitrous and we just happen to have body and tire? Is it still good enough? Well, individually, each one of them does about 190 something, okay, in the quarter mile with this tune, which means it's quite a bit off, but in combination, it still shows 199. That is a problem because that is not going to be helpful when you try to put the two of them together to accomplish that 216. So while nitrous body and nitrous tire can do very well together, body and tire together doesn't really do that well. I can tell you, if you show 199, there's no way you're going to hit 216. It just isn't in the mile per hour. It's not showing enough to pull it off. So everything really works best off of nitrous and something. Some of the weaker combos that are still doable is nitrous and either one of these obviously is fine, but nitrous and transmission and then one of these guys would be tough. Now you can pull it off either with engine or intake, but not really with turbo. Turbo just doesn't have enough of a push to get into that 216. That doesn't mean I'm driving it perfectly, so you could always play with it and hope that you do get it. But I've gone only the best of about a 215 and change, which is frustrating because you see it, it's right there. But that, 20 races later or 20 test runs later, I haven't hit 216. So I can only tell you, as far as I'm concerned, nitrous trans turbo isn't going to cut it. Whereas I know nitrous trans intake and nitrous trans engine can cut it if you do it right. So what I do is I tend to short shift it to 6 and then deep good 6 and 7 and hope that nitrous runs out right as the car crosses the line, pushing it to the closest possible to 216. That's a 215.7. So one thing that I noticed about intake is having it 3.95 gives it that little extra bump, just enough usually to get us over the line at 216. So that's a 3 stage 6 combination of just nitrous, trans, and intake. And I can tell you nitrous, trans, and engine is actually easier. So that one should be even easier to accomplish. This one, just enough. That one little push on the final drive is what makes the difference with this particular combo versus with engine. 3.96 is okay, 3.95 is okay. Engine is a little bit stronger, so it can always do the job. What happens if you don't have nitrous and you have engine turbo trans? I mean, engine turbo trans, you know, those kind of things instead. Well, the problem is that even with what is essentially a decent stage 6 here, and then 3 others that are mediocre, your mile per hour is still going to be very much looking like a little bit of a struggle here. It just, nitrous is just a big deal when it comes to pushing. Now, it comes close. 213.7 is pretty close. If you can get nitrous to work for you just enough, okay, you can get it. So these 4 will still do it. The driving technique is only slightly different because your nitrous will run out quicker. So you're going to use nitrous in 7th instead of 6. Basically, try to keep nitrous pushing it at the very end rather than earlier, because once you waste the nitrous in an earlier gear, you're not going to get beyond that mile per hour you're looking for. So again, we're going to try to get nitrous to push right to the end, and that'll get you through. So those 4 will do it without stage 6 nitrous, but with stage 6 nitrous you can do it on 3 or 2, and generally without stage 6 nitrous you're probably going to need 4. Some combinations of 3, I haven't tried any, I'll be honest with you. I don't think any combination of 3 without nitrous S6 is going to get very far, because I'm already using pretty strong ones outside of the nitrous stage 6. So these are all the various combos I've seen that'll help you get through that speed trap. Mind you, this is all full fusion, so if you're missing fusions, it's going to change it again. And at stage 5 only, it's not going to cut it at all. Nitrous and engine, which is a interesting combination, comes very close to making it, but very difficult because it reaches like 215. And I suspect nitrous and intake may come that close as well, where it comes up to like 214, 215, but it's a super struggle to get it into that 216 range. Although with transmission added, it kind of ran well over that 216. But if you notice, that mile per hour, to push it beyond that by 14 mile per hour is really asking a lot. So I don't see that really happening. So again, these specific combinations that seems to work the best, you know, nitrous with body or tire, either one. Nitrous body anything, obviously. But then if you don't have body or tire, you have nitrous, trans, and engine or intake will work. Nitrous engine and intake will also work. In fact, let me show that one to you real quick, because that's another combo that does work without having some of the other ones. You don't need transmission, because transmission, believe it or not, it's actually less useful than engine and intake together. Those two together with nitrous actually gets a better overall mile per hour than in combination with transmission. So you see it's 209, which means you have a very good shot at getting that 216. About 8 mile per hour over is what you can expect with stage 6 nitrous. So anything 8 plus 8, 16. So anything with 207, 208 mile per hour, it's cutting it pretty close, but you can do it. So 209, we should definitely be able to get that 216. Okay, so here we go. Again, I'm trying to time it so the nitrous ends right at the end. It was bouncing red line, therefore it got 216. So that's another combination that works. Every fusion you're missing will reduce your mile per hour. So if you're missing even 5 fusions, you could lose almost 1 to 2 mile per hour out of the car, and therefore you also wouldn't make it. So this is the main thing that's holding people up. Not everybody's gonna have the same stage 6s, but I'm trying to show you at least some of the combination of stage 6s that'll help you. Fortunately, in a way, the relays can work it out if you have other cars that are fast enough. So this car doesn't have to be the fastest thing out there from a tune standpoint, but it is the one you're going to be stuck with for that mile per hour speed trap, and therefore most people that are stuck at the moment are stuck on that speed trap. So I hope that this video gets to you. It'll be helpful to you. Let me know if it helps you. Feel free to comment in the comments. If you like the video, leave a like. If you like my videos and would like notifications, subscribe so you can get those notifications. And as always, thank you for watching my video. I'll catch you next time.